Thanks for listening to FYI Stillwater, where you will hear information about your local government you didn't know you need to know, straight from the source. Be sure to check out other news and information from the City of Stillwater at stillwater.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter. Hi, I'm your host, Sherry Fletcher, Director of Marketing and Civic Engagement. Today, my co-host is Assistant City Manager Paula Dennison. Hi, Paula.
How you doing, Sherry?
I'm doing good.
Good.
We've been together quite a bit today.
Yes, we have. I don't know why I'm amazed, but I'm amazed that we just responded to a 12-question questionnaire from another university. And we were had the same answers, and we had not compared answers at all.
That is true. I think it's just because we're just really sharp women, but other people may have other opinions on how we got there. But anyway, so who is our guest today, Paula?
So from the fire department, we have Fire Marshal Steve Sylvester with us today.
Okay.
And Steve will get to tell us about how long he's been in the job and stuff from the fire department, and talk to us a little bit about Freddie.
All right. Well, let's start with some basic facts.
Okay, good. So the fire marshal's office, they're responsible for permits and inspections. And this is so important, and I appreciate all that they do. And any new parent will. They do the car seat installations.
Oh, I know that. Do you know the video we did for that? It's got about 10 million views.
It set a world record, didn't it?
It did. That's what we're going with that. Whether or not it's true or not does not matter. We're going to state it as fact today.
But like so many of the other city departments that we've been talking to, they do more than just what the average citizen sees. Like last week we had Assistant Chief Jordan on, and we were talking about all the different stuff that the police department does. They don't just track down robbers and fast car drivers like Sherry on the road.
I'm stealth. I have never had a speeding ticket. Never.
No.
My entire life, I have had one ticket for rolling through a red light. I sort of stopped. I thought it was enough, but I think I'm stealth.
The fire department is exactly the same way. Who would have thought, when you mention fire department, do you think car seat installation?
Of course.
No, you don't. So, Steve can talk about all the other stuff they do. They do the FireWise program, and they have a fire prevention division. And guess what? We just celebrated National Fire Week.
There's a skit. You can go to our YouTube page and watch it. It's pretty cute.
It is.
It's got Freddie in it.
It does have Freddie in it. Who's Freddie? We'll hear from Steve who Freddie is.
Steve's going to tell us all about it.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Steve. I know you've listened to our podcast, and you're ready to go with the lightning round, where we ask you some random but revealing questions.
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Thank you. You look enthusiastic.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Okay, great. So let's say you're independently wealthy and don't have to work, which would really be a shame because we're glad you're here. What would you do with your time? And then what would you do with your money?
Ooh.
A little twist there. On that question, that is so easy for me to answer because I've been thinking about this every day for the last 28 years. What am I going to do when I retire? So there's three things that I'm really looking forward to being able to do more of. And one is golf. I love to play golf. I just don't have the time now. Also fishing and riding motorcycles. So those three things right there are going to be done a whole lot more. And that is, anytime you have a Harley, it's they say another $1,000. So there would be the money. Yeah. And I would have an assortment of them. So
really,
yeah, if I had the money.
Yeah, and the time.
And the
money and the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so next one. What's your favorite tradition or holiday?
Well, it's this time of year, right, that we're at right now. I love the fall, around Halloween. Big college football fan, so this is a great time of year. So I'd probably say Halloween.
So what do you like about being in the fire department? What keeps you there?
The group of guys, the guys and girls that I work with, it's like having another family. I mean, you spend a third of your life with them.
Right.
So back when I was on shift work, back then we were working 24 on, 48 off. Now, of course, they do 48 on, 96 off. But you're there at the station. You develop great friends. And what we've always said is we're getting paid to do what we would do for free anyway. That's
Really?
help people.
Yeah.
So if I went by and I saw a house fire, and I would want to help, and now I get paid to do that.
So you have this very civic mindedness to you. Where did that come from?
I hate to cheat because I did listen to what Assistant Chief Jory Stanley said,
yeah.
but we both played high school sports. We
Yeah.
actually went to high school together in Perkins.
Oh, really?
And it's kind of the same thing. It's a team-oriented, enjoy helping people and
Right.
Helping people that can't help themselves.
Awesome. So you're the fire marshal now. What does that mean?
Well, in Stillwater, we've got a fire marshal and a deputy fire marshal. And our three main functions are code enforcement, pub ed. We educate everybody that we can. We try to hit all the college kids, young kids, elderly, everybody in our community, which is about 80,000 people that
Right.
we're trying to reach out to.
Because you go past city limits.
Yes.
Your
Service
response
area.
service area.
Yes, yeah. I mean, from having a booth at the Payne County Fair to doing stuff on our social media, we try to reach as many people as we can. And we're hoping that when college kids come here, they learn something and they'll take it home with them also.
Absolutely.
Those two, and the other one is investigations. So we also do all of our arson investigations. And anytime we have a incident to where it was unknown cause for the fire, then they call in the fire marshal or the deputy, and we'll do a thorough investigation.
One of the things about code enforcement that I want you to talk a little bit more about is, and coming out of the development world side of Stillwater, we know that some buildings have been built here that many of them have sprinklers and alarm systems. So many of them are old and they don't until somebody wants to rehab them, and then there's that requirement coming in. So talk a little bit about the annual maintenance, all of that, ensuring not just the building and property, but that the lives are safe in Stillwater.
Yeah. Our code inspection program is very important. What we've got set up right now is we've got every commercial occupancy, and there's 1,248 of them in the city limits that we are responsible for. And of those inspections, we've divided them into high, medium, and low risk occupancies. So all of our high risk occupancies, like you touched on, will have a fire alarm or a sprinkler system. So those are being done every year. We want to make sure that they're being annually inspected. We want to make sure that we have a green tag on them, and that is about 600 to 800 of those are high risk. Then the medium is every 2 years, and the low risk is every 3 years. So we do company inspections. So we've got 6 different groups per shift. So A shift's on duty today, so they've got 6 different crews that go out and do inspections. We do inspections every Wednesday. It's overseen by myself and the deputy fire marshal, and we look at every inspection that comes through to us. We look at that, and then we'll either send the violation notice if there was a violation, or we'll close it out and schedule it for the next time, either the 1, 2, or 3 years out.
Well, let's jump into the car seat because I'm really interested in that. So if I was a new parent and I went and bought me my car seat, and I'm just not really sure that I got it in the car right, do I just show up at any of the fire stations, or how do I go about doing that?
We've got 7 techs right now.
Wow.
And when you think of a tech, you think it's is that a 1-day course, or is that a 2-hour course, or how is
Right.
it? It's actually a 2-week course.
Oh, my.
There is a lot more goes into testing and checking car seats. So we've got 7 techs, and we try to spread them out as much as we can, so there's one always on duty. You can stop by headquarters at any time from 8 to 5.
That's on Main Street.
On Main Street, yes. And you can come to 1506, which is a station, or the admin building at 1510. We actually do have one of our techs is in the admin's office, and it's the deputy fire marshal, Thomas Tharp. And these guys, they do a great job, because if you look at it, the national average is 90% of car seats are installed improperly.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And when we have our car seat events and we have them come in, it's spot on. It's about 90% of them are incorrect.
Wow.
And because when you're because I've put my car seats in myself, and you start pulling and tugging, and they feel wobbly, and you pull and you tug and you push and then you put the kid in back and forth, and you probably should have looked at it a little bit more, and the kid's pulling and tugging, and I'm quite sure that sometimes my children weren't as safe as they needed to be.
There's so many changes in the laws too. I mean, from the height and the weight of the child to rear facing and the size of the seat. A lot of kids are outgrowing their seats, and we partnered with Safe Kids Coalition out of St. Francis and Tulsa, and once a year we were unable to do it this year, broke our heart, but next year we're hoping to be able to do it again. But we'll give seats out to people that need them if they got the wrong size, or if a car seat's ever been in an accident, it's void at that time. It's time to get a new one, or over 10 years old. That's what the manufacturer states.
You think everyone knows it, but I'm going to bet that there are so many parents that did not realize, or maybe some second-time or third-time parents, that this is not something that's
or even
been part of their life.
Grandparents who may have grandchildren.
Is that a thought over there, Paula?
Yeah. No.
I
know people, Sherry. I'm asking for others.
It's not me either. Not me either. I'm old enough to be the grandparent of my children, but I am not a grandparent. So, okay. Well, that is awesome. I really like hearing about that, and I love the photographs and the whenever the people are like, oh, I finally got my seat in, and it's so good, and they post it on social media. Really good stuff. Now, recently, it was National Fire Prevention Week. What is that? And what all do you guys do? Because it's a busy week for you.
Yes, ma'am. It started back in actually 1871 when they had the Great Fire of Chicago.
Oh,
and
I did not realize that was that old.
Yeah. So what happened at this time is there was so many lives lost and so much property damage that they realized that we've got to come up with some codes. So they started writing codes at that time, and they also started having every week. I think that they waited until 1930, I believe, before they actually started the Fire Prevention Week, but it did come from that fire. So it started then, and it was over Miss Leary's cow, is the rumor, kicking the lantern over, which they said later could have been from kids smoking. But
those dang kids.
Yeah, but there's a lot of controversy there. But so they came up with this back then, and I think we've done a good job of reaching the elementary schools with it. We've went to H Elementary School, done our skits. This year was a little different. We did the video that you saw, and we put the video out and to try to, and it was kitchen fires is what the subject was.
Yeah, the children, because I've been to the public schools during the events, and the children really like the skits. They like the firemen coming in. They like to see Sparky, and
now there's a new partner.
I know. Freddie?
Freddie.
Tell us about Freddie.
We're very proud of Freddie. We purchased him at the first of the year. We had no idea that the pandemic would be hitting, and so we were really wanting to bring him to the county or the city commissioners meeting. We really wanted to get him out in the schools, and so he's been kind of just laying in wait for this. But we did get a great video with him.
So tell us what Freddie is.
Okay.
Freddie the fire truck.
Right. Freddie is a remote-controlled fire truck that we purchased. It has a sound modifier, so he gets to speak. It's wireless, so our firefighters can stand back when they speak for him. He does blink his eyes. He's remote controlled, and he does even squirt water. So he can ask you a fire prevention question. If you get it wrong, he could spray you with water. So
you did not show us that.
Or he could demonstrate how to put out a fire.
That's
So whenever Freddie talks, that's really just a fireman off to the side, and it looks like the fire truck is thinking on its own. A little bit of artificial intelligence going on there. But I think for kids would be
That'd be fantastic for
'cause
elementary school and even the middle school. That age group would like it too. They'd be fascinated with probably all the technology and how you're doing that
Yeah,
stuff.
the controller, it's like a foot by a foot. I mean, it's massive.
Yeah.
And then you're wearing a headset with the modifier, and it's really neat. When we went to purchase this, it was almost like purchasing a real fire truck. I mean, we were purchasing a ladder truck at the same time, and I'm in designing color schemes and all that. I wanted to make him white like our other fire trucks here in Stillwater. So we wanted to make him white and make him just like it, but he looked a lot like Andy the ambulance. So we wanted to stay away from that, and so we made
Well, gosh, we wouldn't want that.
Don't confuse a fire truck and an ambulance, Sherry.
Okay.
That's right.
So why are our fire trucks white and not red?
I've asked that question for 28 years, and I've got several different answers.
Okay.
One of them is I was told a long time ago we had a chief that says, I don't want anything red in this town due to the school south of here. And that's just one of the reasons.
Dang that school to the south.
So that's the one I've heard the most. And then there's another one that was a cheaper paint job. We could get a better truck at a better price. So
Because I really think this is one of the few places I've been where there's a white fire truck. Yeah.
So I don't have a for sure answer on that. Those are the two rumors that I've heard.
Well, we can always speculate that at nighttime you can see it coming.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably because of the school down south.
Proximity.
That would have made the most sense.
No, it does make the most sense.
So would you paint them orange?
I think there's going to be possibly some orange on the next truck, but I'm not for sure.
Oh, a little preview there.
Stay tuned.
But you wouldn't want to go completely orange because then it would look like it was property of OSU and not a
City, public service, fire.
But a little bit of orange on the white would probably look pretty cool.
Yeah, or maybe a pistol Pete or something, something small.
There you go.
I don't know what the plans are, but
Okay, who gets to make that decision?
I think that's probably up to Paula and Jory. And
Who's going to make the decision? It's going to be Tennessee orange.
There you go.
I know it's way above the fire marshal's job.
And you're happy to say that,
Yes.
aren't you?
Yes.
All right. Was there anything we didn't talk about that you really wanted to talk about? Anything more on education or?
I'll just throw some numbers out. I'll try not to
Sure.
bore you with a whole lot of
I love
statistics.
numbers. Go for it.
But on average, in the U.S. every year, there's 358,000 house fires.
That is a
So
lot.
we take a lot of passion in trying to prevent these fires. There is 7 deaths per day due to house fires in the
Really?
U.S. Yes. So I don't think that those numbers get out there enough. I don't think people realize how important it is for fire safety. We go into commercial occupancies and we have a list of things we can do to prevent fires. But of course, we don't go into people's homes to do this.
Right.
So if they would take the stuff that we've learned in commercial occupancies and instill them in their homes, I think it would be great. I mean, as simple as having your address clearly marked to make the fireman or the ambulance or the police able to get there quicker. I mean, every second counts, of course. Working smoke detectors, extinguishers, not just having extinguishers, but actually knowing where they're at in the house. I ask a lot of people if they have them. They say yes. And I say, where is it? Oh, they don't know where it is.
I have one, but I've never used it, so
It might be expired, Sherry.
It probably is, but I would need to read the instructions while I'm getting ready to use it, because I do like to read instructions. It'd be like, pull pin, okay, I need a diagram. Where are they? So yeah, the house would be gone.
Well, that's good, because I was going to address that too, because we remember it by PASS, P-A-S-S.
Okay.
It's pull the pin, you aim, you squeeze, and then you sweep.
Oh,
So it's an easy way to remember how to operate an extinguisher.
that's what I need to go put that on it.
Get you some of those black sticky letters like on mailboxes and stuff, and just up the side of it, P-A-S-S.
And then be like, pass. Yeah, I'll pass. Yeah.
And also extension cord use. We allow in commercial occupancies, extension cord use is for temporary use only. We have a lot of fires. I think I've been to 3 fires within 1 week back when I was a lieutenant where it was caused by extension cords. So we do not recommend that unless it's temporary use. And I've already was looking when I came in here, but it looks pretty good.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, we live and die by extension cords in this broadcast room. I'm just counting. I can't even see all of the outlets, but I think we're in violation of something.
Well, you can use power strips for sensitive electronics. So
Okay.
I think we're good there.
I'm glad you mentioned about the house fires because we're coming up on colder weather and you've got all of the heating equipment that folks try and use and get by with
Yeah.
through the winter months. Do you want to hit on any of that right quickly?
Absolutely. Number one, we're looking at Christmas time coming right around the corner, and if you do have a live tree, make sure it has water. It is amazing, a dry tree, how fast it'll go up in unattainable conditions. Also, on your space heaters, make sure that they're UL listed and make sure they have tip over protection. So if it does tip over, it'll shut off. Also, make sure that there's not children or pets running around them, and you have 3 feet of clearance around your heaters. Just following these safety tips right there would eliminate a lot of house fires.
Wow.
And if you have a kerosene heater, make sure there's some ventilation in your house, and please don't leave the heaters on when the house is not occupied.
Absolutely. Great point.
Just like candles.
Yep.
Yeah, candles is a big fire hazard, especially during this season.
Yeah, it is.
I have this battle at home with my wife, and
She likes
she
candles?
loves candles, but I'm
Tell
like,
us
no.
more.
No, there is no candles burning at my house right now, but
That you know of.
that I know of.
Awesome. Well, what I think we should do is just kind of bring you back each season so you can walk us through some tips and help educate the public on these really important things that they need to know.
That would be great. I'd appreciate that.
All right. We're going to get you scheduled. Tommy? She's on it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I personally think the Freddy the Fire Truck is the cutest thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of the adults, when they showed the video, all of the adults were oohing and ahhing and
awesome.
giggling
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear
almost.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fun stuff.
So now everybody needs to get on the city website or YouTube
Go to
and pull up the city council meeting from,
I think just go watch the YouTube video.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go watch
Lots-
the YouTube video.
We'll put a link in the description.
Perfect. Then everybody can meet Freddie.
All right.
Thank you all very much for having me.
All right. thank
Glad you were here.
Paula, let's go to the mailbox.
Let's go.
All right. We receive questions from a lot of different places, including social media, phone calls, and even email. So our first question today is from Mark on Facebook. He asked, is there a schedule for the street sweeper? I would love to have my vehicle off the street the next time it came through.
And that is a great question, and thank you for wanting to have your vehicle off the street because we need them off the streets.
Right. That's why we actually do have a schedule.
Yes, we do. It is located on the street sweeping map and schedule resource that's on the city's website, stillwater.org.
Just keyword search street sweeper.
That's right, keyword search street sweeper, and that map and the schedule will pop up. But there's a couple of other ways that folks can help too. Not only remove your vehicle, trash and recycling carts, basketball hoops, and other obstructions from the street, because a lot of folks play basketball out in the street, but keep the tree branches and bushes trimmed back so that the sweepers can sweep up to the curb line. That's real important instead of it overhanging. And avoid blowing grass clippings or disposing yard waste, leaves, and branches into the street for a street sweeper to pick up.
Now, they only do streets that have curbs.
The streets with curbs are swept first, those without curbs as necessary.
Oh, okay.
So it's not guaranteed that your street will get swept if it does not have a curb.
Yeah.
But if they're necessary, then I'm sure you can call in and
Yeah, you can call in, but the map only shows the streets with the curbs.
with the curbs.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, I think if people could do that, they'd be surprised at how much debris those street sweepers pick up.
Yes, they do. And it goes great in keeping us compliant with Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality.
Awesome. Well, let's go to question number 2.
Okay.
Somebody was asking about the small business grant they heard about on council on Monday night, October 19th.
October 19th.
So there was a small business grant. What were they hearing?
So the city council, in working with the Chamber of Commerce, who we contract with to do our economic development work for the city, they approved a small business assistance program that can grant up to $5,000 for small businesses located here in Stillwater that have been impacted negatively from the pandemic.
Yeah.
So there's some paperwork to fill out. Everything is being submitted to the Chamber of Commerce, not to City Hall, because the Chamber is taking the paperwork and they're going through it and they're evaluating, making sure that all of the criteria are met that's needed. And then they're submitting it to the city for us to issue some financial assistance for.
That is so needed.
Yeah, it really is. We've had a number of businesses close.
Right.
A number of businesses have had to lay off their employees or cut down the services that they provided. There's been an enormous financial impact to the businesses, which in turn impacts the workers and the city, because Oklahoma is a sales tax state, and that's how we get our money to operate general government.
And the state and federal funding is depleted.
The CARES Act funds, that has been run through the state of Oklahoma, and we were apportioned out some, but that's no longer available. My understanding is. So this is a great opportunity. The funds are limited.
Right.
And we've had a large number of folks who have already put in their request for this assistance. So if you're one of those businesses out there and the funds may not be available when you are made aware of this, please hang on. We may be coming back and funding some more.
If you know a business that could benefit from these funds, please share this information.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being my co-host today.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for listening to FYI Stillwater. If you like this episode, help us out and give us a like or share us with your friends.
Stay tuned for our next podcast.
If you have a question for City Hall, email news@stillwater.org, and in the next podcast, we'll answer a few of them. FYI Stillwater is available on our website at stillwater.org, Spotify, and just about anywhere else you enjoy your podcast.